So, welcome back. This is the 93rd segment of Making Sense for 7 Minutes, and it is the 23rd segment out of 25 where we are taking a hard look at evil and suffering. Now, we've been taking this hard look through the lens of a biblical worldview. And we've noted that the four historical events which provide us with a template for the biblical worldview are itemized by creation, corruption, redemption, and restoration. In the past two segments, we visited the reality of creation with regards to evil and suffering, with the question, what do we know about God? And then, given the facts of what we know as the fall and the subsequent corruption of humans, we asked, what do we know about people? This segment, and segment number 94 to follow, will be in light of God's actions on our behalf and on behalf of all of creation for our redemption. And in doing so, we raise the question, what do we know about God's purposes? Especially, of course, as they relate to the reality of the pervasiveness of evil and suffering in our world. Now, our understanding works on two interrelated levels. There's the macro, God's purposes for the world at large, and then the micro, God's purposes for each individual. Not surprisingly, God's purposes right now, today, this moment, have everything to do with what's in store for both the world and you and me as we move toward the restoration of all things which is coming up in the future. So you're with me. Now, obviously, with 7 minutes in a segment and only 2 more segments after this, there's no way that these two levels, the macro and the micro, can be addressed comprehensively. Besides, when you consider that what God's purposes are in the world at large, as he allows what is clearly a great deal of evil and suffering to continue, the fact of the matter is, we simply don't have enough information to know exactly what his purposes are on that level. What we do know, even if we can't go any further than this, but this is crucial, is that God loves the world at large, and nations, and people groups, and families. And his pattern, we know, is to turn those things meant for evil into good, and that he can be trusted. Then, this brings us down to the micro level. Each particular individual in the life of each individual, keeping in mind that God seems to always be accomplishing more than one thing at a time, even within a very particular set of circumstances, I can say with confidence that I know that suffering is used by Him in each person's life for a very fundamental, straight to the heart purpose. Now, what that purpose is going to be one of two things, depending on whether or not you are a follower of Jesus or not. If you're not a follower of Jesus, I'd encourage you to allow the suffering in your life to be an agency that brings you to the realization that you're not in control, and you never will be. Not of your circumstances, and not of your own self. I would bet that some of what you're suffering is self-inflicted. That it's a result of something going on inside of you that you don't like, that perhaps you even hate, but that you have no control over, and you have no power to change. And God's purpose for those struggles that you're going through, although He did not cause them to happen, is to draw you to Himself so that He can change you. If you're not a follower of Jesus, God's great project in your life is for you to become one. If you are a follower of Jesus, God's great project in your life is to shape you into the image of Jesus Himself. And suffering is often the chisel that He'll use to hammer out change bit by bit. And what do I mean by shape you into the image of Jesus? Well, I'm out of time. I'm over time. So that'll just have to wait until the next segment. Thanks, y'all.